This copyrighted telecast of the Western Athletic Conference may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of the WAC Digital Network.
The Aggies of New Mexico State roll into Orem with an 11-game winning streak and undefeated conference record. But the Wolverines of Utah Valley are set to protect the Den with their eyes on home victory number 13. It's a desert duel along the Wasatch Front, and it's next on UVU TV.
Oh, you got one of those insurance apps too? You know how this thing works?
No, sorry. Not an app, it's my agent.
In this moment,
No, I'm fine, thanks.
it's good to know you have a trusted, independent auto owner's insurance agent who's there when you need them.
Great.
Man, I gotta get one of those.
Auto Owners Insurance, the no-problem people.
Neil Dastrup Insurance, your local independent auto owners insurance agency, supports UVU athletics.
Welcome to the UCCU Center in the heart of Orem, Utah. Brandon Crow with you alongside Holton Hunsaker. Thank you for joining us here on UVU TV and the WAC Sports Digital Network. Holton, it's been a while since Utah Valley has been home to play. It seems like it's been a couple months, it feels like, but it's only been a couple weeks. Utah Valley, they had a rough one last week. They split the series, lost a tough one in Missouri, but they come back here tonight to defend their home turf, looking for their 13th home win. They have a 12-1 record, but they're going up against the #1 team in the conference, Holton.
Yeah, what an exciting game to come back home to. We're going to have a full crowd here tonight. These guys are going to be energized, especially wanting to bounce back from a loss. And then you got the #1 team in the WAC on your home court. Not a better place to be.
The #1 team in the conference and the #1 player, Jamario Jones, has done something that no Division I player has done since 1997. 3 straight games with 20-plus rebounds, and Zach Loft is not too bad either.
Yeah, Zach Lofton can fill it up. He's averaging 22 points a ball game right now in WAC play. And as you mentioned, Jamario Jones, they do it as a team as well. Right now, they're out-rebounding their opponents by 12 rebounds a game.
Switching up on the Utah Valley side, Jake Toulson, he's been a facilitator on offense. He's done anything that Coach Pope has asked him to do. Him and A.K. Manning are going to be big factors tonight for Utah Valley.
Yeah, we've mentioned it several times. So much of the offense runs through Jake, and a lot of his consistency, his level-headedness, everything that Coach Pope needs him to bring as a leader, everyone feeds off of that. And then, of course, AK is going to have his hands bowled down low, and they're going to need his athleticism.
Absolutely. One of the keys to the game for Utah Valley, we'll get into that, will be the glass. But for New Mexico State, they have to clean up the glass like they have been doing, and they got to slow down the tempo. We know Utah Valley likes that fast pace, but New Mexico likes to slow it down a little bit.
Yeah, and they do a great job of it. Right now, they're only giving up 58 points a ball game in WAC play against their opponents. That gives credit to their athleticism, and we've mentioned what they do defensively as far as cleaning up the glass.
For Utah Valley, they got to box out. They got to make sure that New Mexico State cannot get to the glass, and they got to attack and attack. High tempo is what Coach Pope is all about.
Yeah, and I love that key to the game of boxing out. They're not going to be able to out-athlete these guys tonight. A lot of times they can rely on AK or Isaac's height to clean up the boards, but tonight it's going to be a physical battle.
Well, it's the #1 versus the #2 in the conference, and it's right here on UVU TV next. Grab your popcorn. We'll be right back with tip-off and starting lineups next. You're watching UVU TV. Welcome to the UCCU Center on the campus of Utah Valley University. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight, the #1 seed New Mexico State Aggies taking on the #2 Utah Valley Wolverines. It is Military Appreciation Night, and we can't say enough. And there's no way that any word that we can say will be enough to thank all of those who have served and who are currently serving. This is a brief demonstration by the Utah Valley marketing and athletic team to help honor military appreciation before the night starts. Very cool. Willie the Wolverine trying to get a slam dunk in, and he does to ignite the crowd. Starting lineups were just announced for New Mexico State. Your starting 5 for the Aggies: Jamario Jones, Jonathan Wilkins, A.J. Harris, Sidy Ndir, and Zach Lofton. Now rounding out the starting 5 for Utah Valley. Go ahead and take it away, Holt.
Starting 5 for Utah Valley is what we've all come used to and accustomed to seeing. Jake Toulson, Brandon Randolph, Connor Toulson, Isaac Nilsson stepping in for AK right now at this point, and then Kenneth Ogby rounds out the lineup for the Wolverines. And again, as we mentioned before, with how much Jake Toulson brings to this group with his leadership, it's also Brandon Randolph. Brandon's going to have his hands full tonight on the perimeter. Without AK in the lineup tonight, there's going to be a lot more pressure on him to defend the ball. He's not going to have as much protection behind him, which AK brings in the painted area.
We made mention of this in the pregame. Holt. Jamario Jones comes into this game doing something that no other collegiate athlete has done as far as basketball is concerned since 1997. 3 consecutive 20-plus rebound games. And last game that he went out, not only did he get 20-plus rebounds, but he got 26 points to go along with it.
And I know your favorite player of all time is Kobe, right? That's almost a Kobe Bryant mentality where it just has to possess you. To get 20 rebounds in a game takes so much effort, and we get a little spoiled when we see Kevin Love or Westbrook or some of these other guys in the NBA that can do it. Well, they have a lot more minutes in their ball game to go do that. But Jamario Jones to do that on a collegiate level is pretty astonishing, and as you said, obviously astonishing. No one else has done it since 1997.
And again, we talked about Jamario Jones, but there's also Zach Lofton, who has, in his own right, a handful of Players of the Week awards given to him. And he comes into this one, a graduate transfer. He's brought so much poise and leadership to this Aggies team for the program. And it's going to be a tough task, like you said, for Utah Valley, but it's going to be a great game. Both teams are fantastically coached. We know the outcome earlier, what happened in Las Cruces just a few weeks ago. Utah Valley trying to avenge that loss. Almost embarrassing, you could say, what happened to the Wolverines. But Utah Valley here at home this season, 12-1, Bolton coming into this game.
Yeah, and going back to the game in Las Cruces, that's such a tough road trip. You go down, you have to be in Edinburgh, Texas the night before, then you bus over to Las Cruces, and having to play that next night. It's a tough travel schedule that the Wolverines and the rest of the conference has to go to, and so the Wolverines tonight will be energized. They'll be up for this one, and New Mexico State knows that they have a target on their back carrying that #1 seed or #1 rank right now, which everyone's chasing going into the conference tournament.
As you see right there on your screen, New Mexico State wearing their away black and burgundy, you could go with. Utah Valley in their home white and green trim. Wilkins wins the tip going up against Isaac Nielsen, and we're underway from the UCCU Center in Orem, Utah. Thank you for joining us on the WAC Sports Digital Network on UVU TV. New Mexico State trying to get out ahead early, and they do with the three-pointer. Sidy Ndir.
You can see from that initial possession defensively, it's not going to be a big-to-big double on the blocks. There's been so much emphasis on how good New Mexico State is down low, but as you can see, they can hurt you from the perimeter as well.
Utah Valley trying to answer. Kenneth Obby creates space, pull-up jump shot, rims off. And there is that man, Jamario Jones. Harris, another quick trigger. 2 threes back-to-back for New Mexico State.
These guys do not lack confidence. They've got an 11-game win streak going on right now, 9-0 in conference play. That basket, when you win and do well over and over again, starts to look just like a bullet.
Connor Toulson with the extra effort gets that to fall. 2 points for Utah Valley. A little slippage on the perimeter. Now a pass in low. And Isaac Nielsen with the steal. Randolph out to the races. Kenneth Ogby finds the bottom of the cup. A quick back-to-back bucket for Utah Valley, puts them within 2.
Terrific eyes and recognition there by Isaac Nilsson. Brandon, who was kind of helping off of that double team, lost his guy to the block, and Isaac saved him there, and a great finish on the other end by Kenneth Ogden.
Utah Valley now trying to play defense. Jamario Jones misses the 3. Nielsen comes up, jump ball is the call. And that'll be Wolverine possession.
A little bit of a quick whistle there on that jump ball, but I kind of agree with it. You don't want anything to get chippy too early, as this one's going to be a tight ball game that every possession is going to matter.
A whistle is called away from the ball, and that'll go against A.J. Harris. That'll be his first personal. New Mexico State has one of the longest winning streaks as far as conference is concerned at home. Utah Valley, of course, shocked the world last year, went down to Las Cruces and got the W. Trying to do the same at home as Kenneth Ogden barely misses that and one opportunity. He'll go to the line to shoot 2. An opportunity to tie for KO.
See, Kenneth Ogden does a great job of attacking the body of the defender there, Wilkins, on the other end of that one, and Kenneth, who's so athletic and ability to bounce around the rim, able to put a lot of pressure on guys as he gets that first free throw to go.
Kenneth Ogden sporting some new, fresh Adidas kicks, hoping to get him a little more oomph. And so far, so good from the free throw line. 2 for 2 for KO. Tie ball game at 6. Buckle up, folks, if you're not already. Grab your popcorn. This one's going to be a battle to the very end. A little less than 18 to go in the first half. 6-6, all tied up. Utah Valley, New Mexico State. Lofton with a drive, stripped. Connor Toulson comes away with it. 2 quick steals for Utah Valley. Brandon Randolph and Utah Valley now with possession. Jake Toulson gives way to Kenneth Ogden. So far, everything is funneled through number 25 for the green and white. Connor Toulson, quick trigger, rims off. Good box out, down low. Another steal. Isaac Nielsen already the big man with 2 steals. Jake Toulson pulls it up. Pump fake from KO. And 20 seconds left on the clock. Coach Pope's going to call a play, reset the offense. Single digits now on the shot clock. Randolph, pull up. No good. And over the back on Isaac Nielsen. And that'll be his first.
Yeah, only Isaac's first, but every foul call, as we see Zach Nielsen checking the game for Isaac, every foul for those bigs is so important tonight because New Mexico State is so deep with their bench and bringing size off their bench, and with Nicole Demaniang out tonight, Wolverines a little slimmer on the bench.
New Mexico State, no field goals in the last 2.5 minutes. A couple of steals for Utah Valley. There's a drive and kick. Harris with the pump fake. Nice dish down low. Good hands in the paint. City in Deer, who, by the way, last time he played Utah Valley had a season-high 17 points on 6 of 8 shooting. So no matter where you look on this New Mexico lineup, you got danger.
Yeah, and that's so unique to a team. You try to exploit any weakness that a team may have, and nice pump fake there from Jake on the perimeter, and the ability to maneuver that ball mid-air and lay that one in. But again, going back to the strength of New Mexico State, it's tough to find what they don't do well and what you try to exploit, and that's, again, why they've won 11 straight games.
Deer down low. Wilkins, another drive and dish. Teamwork to Johnny McCants. 10-8, Aggie lead. Connor Toulson. Randolph. Now Ogden for Utah Valley. Jake Toulson coming off the screen. Finds his way, little reverse layup. Jake Toulson finding his groove in the paint.
A terrific hesitation there by Jake to let Zach come into the picture and make the defender make a decision, and they went to Zach, and Jake had a wide open layup.
Two-handed jam, Johnny McCants.
And that's what these guys do. They're so athletic, and they can get up off that ground in a hurry in limited space, and the defensive rotations off of these double defending on the block has really hurt the Wolverines these first few possessions.
Good defense by the Aggies. Kenneth Dobby still driving to the lane, follows his own shot, misses the opportunity. A whistle is called, and that'll take us to the first break. A couple lead changes, but Utah Valley only down by 2. New Mexico State 12, Utah Valley 10. We'll be right back with more on UVU TV right after this.
You're watching UVU TV.
Mark Pope coaching up his squad as they're trailed by 2, just only 2, with a little over 14 left to play in the first half here from the UCCU Center in Orem, Utah. Brandon Crow alongside Holton Hunsaker. Thank you for joining us here on the WAC Sports Digital Network on UVU TV and the other media platforms, Roku, Apple TV as well. Thank you for letting us be a part of your evening on a chilly Thursday in Orem, Utah. But if you need to warm yourself, looks like the heat's just turning up here on the court. Some hot shooting right out of the gate for New Mexico State. Their first 2 buckets, 2 threes from long distance. Utah Valley came back and responded with 2 quick layups, and then a trip to the free throw line for Kenneth Ogby. And then it's been back and forth ever since, and frankly, I feel like it might just be back and forth all the way down to the wire, Holden.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that. The way this thing has started is definitely probably a great segue to how things are going to go, and we're going to get a quick whistle. I don't know if there's a foul call or a missed contact here. I'm not quite sure what is going on with Chua there.
A little bit of a miscommunication. Ball is awarded to New Mexico State out of play. 15 on the shot clock. Aggies with the rock. Good ball movement. Got to put something up with 4 seconds on the shot clock. 3 seconds. 2 seconds. Gets it up just in time. Doesn't touch the rim. Shot clock violation for New Mexico State.
Terrific defense there by Brandon Randolph to finish out that possession. Didn't go for any of the hesitations or fakes as most defenders do, because you try to anticipate that last shot before the buzzer sounds, and Brandon able to finish that one out, stayed down, and used his body well defensively.
Jarrell DeBerry now checks into the ball game for Utah Valley, his first minutes of the evening. Kick out by Zach Nelson. Now Connor Toulson with the floater. Couldn't get that one to fall. And a rebound, an up-tempo push by Zach Lofton and New Mexico State. Another drive. And they're going to call an offensive foul on Lofton. Zach Nelson, father time. Doing well to sell that body.
Between Kenneth Ogby and Jarrell DeBerry now out there on Lofton, Wolverines have given a 100% of their attention to everywhere he goes, and he's been getting a little frustrated, as I believe that was his first shot attempt of the ball game. And the attention it draws, help side came over, and Zach stepped up to take the charge.
Brandon Randolph spots up for three. Looked good, but rimmed just off the backside. Now here comes Lofton. Past the byline. Utah Valley in an offensive drought. No field goals in the last 2 minutes. Zach Nelson doing some solid defense down low. 10 seconds again on the shot clock for New Mexico State. Teardrop floater, no good. Rebounded by Utah Valley. Brandon Randolph with speed. Jake Toulson, Zach Nelson, Connor Toulson with the fake. He's going to drive to the lane with the layup. Another tie ball game.
As you mentioned, the pace of the ball game and attack pregame. That's what the Wolverines are doing offensively. You can see New Mexico State loves to use the entire shot clock of the possession, kind of wear teams down to get the shot that they want around the rim. But on the other end, they're having a tough time keeping the Wolverines in front of them.
One official on the baseline said that Chua stepped out of bounds. The other official came in to counter that and say that he was bumped out by Zach Nelson. So foul will go against Zach Nelson. Some fresh legs check in for Utah Valley and for New Mexico State. It's a whole line change, hockey style. Ben Nikwasa seeing his first minutes tonight for Utah Valley. Keon Jones checking in for New Mexico State. 15 on the shot clock. Nice left-handed floater, misses. Over the back is going to go against Chua. So both teams coming out just after that timeout, a little flat on either side. Utah Valley had no field goals for 2 minutes or so until Connor Toulson's last bucket. Now New Mexico State trades it for no field goals in the last 3 minutes.
Both teams really pride themselves defensively. We mentioned before how New Mexico State's only given up 58 points a ball game in conference play, and against that, the Wolverines only given up 63 points a ball game. So both teams great defensively.
Speaking of defensively, a defensive steal on the other side leads to a three-pointer for Keon Jones in New Mexico State as they retake the lead 15-12. Kenadabi coming off of the screen. This way to Connor Toulson, now Jarrell DeBerry. Inlet to Isaac Nielsen. Looked like a tight end getting hit from a DB. Foul's gonna go against A.J. Harris. And that will be another timeout. So Utah Valley only trails by 3, 15-12. And we'll be right back after this on UVU TV.
You're watching UVU TV.
(15-12). This is the lead right now for New Mexico State. Only 3 points. There has been a score, lead change, or tie at least 5 times so far in this contest. Back and forth we go. New Mexico State right now has 7 bench points to Utah Valley's 0. So that'll be a key factor going forward into this contest to see how much production Utah Valley's bench will give. And in the paint, ironically enough, Utah Valley's outscoring New Mexico State in the paint 10-6 as Jarrell DeBerry with a quick 3 out of that timeout, misses. But Coach Pope very encouraging. He loves that shot anyway.
Yeah, and Drill DeBerry's been that spark off the bench, as you mentioned. He gives the Wolverines a lot of energy, not only defensively, as we've seen him guard Jones pretty closely throughout this game, and Lofton, but offensively, Drill can throw in some shots that a lot of these guys on the team can't.
5 seconds on the shot clock now for New Mexico State. Got to put something up. A desperation heave. Again, Sidney Indier got slipped up just shy of that logo. So that's the second shot clock violation in the past 3 minutes for New Mexico State.
Yeah, and it's probably the 5th or 6th possession that a shot goes up within the last 5 or 6 seconds of a possession. So again, these guys are very patient. They try to wear you out and get what they want.
Brandon Randolph trying to throw a lob into Isaac Nielsen. Good defense to chip that away by New Mexico State. Now Indier gives way to Chua. Chua with the powerful drive and the left-handed finish.
And that was a quick first step for a man his size, and showing the ability to do that with his off hand and then finish with the off hand as well.
Bendequasa, Brandon Randolph, Kenneth Ogby being pestered by Indier all night long. Ogby, a little too hard of a pass, trying to give way to Isaac Nielsen. And Utah Valley was tied, now sees himself trailing by 5, which could even be doubled or extended very quickly if they don't watch out on defense.
Yeah, especially for how well New Mexico State's shooting from the outside. Again, going into that last timeout, they're shooting 75%, just 3 of 4, but still only missed 1 shot from the perimeter. And it's tough to do. It's tough to guard both. They're so big and strong down low. You have to respect one or the other. And again, as we mentioned, there's not too many weaknesses on this team.
Chua, the facilitator right now for New Mexico State, gets way to Indier. Indier down low to JJ, as they call him in New Mexico. And he drops a 15-foot teardrop. Ironically, that's his first points of the game.
And that's some part of his game I didn't know about. I didn't know he had such a beautiful stroke and the ability to face someone up on the block. And
Jarrell DeBerry answers with a 3 of his own.
And that's what these guys need him to do. He's kind of the, in his day, a 6-man J.R. Smith or even Crawford come in, tries to get shots up and make an impact in the game as quickly as he can.
Zach Lofton on the other end for New Mexico State, sinks a jumper. Extends that lead now 21-15 for the Aggies. Kenneth Ogby finds a lane, drives, gets met hard at the rim, no foul call. And here comes New Mexico State. Indier calling for it, instead Jones has it. He gets trapped up, held down on the floor. The whistle is called, and that'll go against Jarrell DeBerry. That'll be his first personal.
What also I've been impressed with New Mexico offensively is all of their actions that they draw up are to get tight catches around that block area. There's nothing usually they try to make towards the rim that's not coming from that Utah Community Credit Union logo. And they run their sets extremely hard and set solid screens. It makes it so hard to force guys out of those tight catches like we see here.
That was a good-looking shot by Chua, just came up shy, rebounded by Utah Valley. Brandon Randolph getting bumped from behind, gets the contact, and 1. Foul goes against Shun Buchanan. And Brandon Randolph will go to the line to finish the 3-point play as we take a look at that replay.
Yeah, Brandon just so strong and plays so low to the ground. As he comes off those screens, he almost blocks out his defender. Again, block out term kind of for a rebound, just denies any chance for him to recover back off that screen. And they just kept coming and coming, and finally was up for the shot and got called for the end one and able to finish the 3-point play.
Utah Valley now only trails by 3. 8:20 to play in the first half. Brandon Crow with Holton Hunsaker on UVU TV. Thank you for joining us this fine Thursday evening. A defensive turnover forced by Jake Toulson and the Wolverines. And little emotion from Jake Toulson, who is one of the leaders in all aspects, especially emotionally, for this ball club.
Yeah, after getting a three-point play, then you're going to come back down and force a turnover. Again, as you mentioned, they're on a little bit of a drought. Definitely the spark they needed to get themselves back into this one.
Zach Nelson posting up, kick out. Jake Toulson for three. Got it! JT for three. All tied up at 21. This is what college basketball is all about right here. The 1 versus the 2. And there's an answer. Ooh. Cold-blooded by Keon Jones.
What a shot by him out of that corner in front of the Wolverine bench there as the crowd starting to get back into it. Keon with the silencer to put Mexico State back up by 4.
Ooh, Jake Toulson with the handles. Gets congested down low. Loses the ball. Again, no foul call. Here comes Jamario Jones with the kick out. Another 3 ball. Missed. Now Jake Toulson will have it. Pushes it up court with Brandon Randolph now. 25 on the shot clock. Nice crossover move to split the defense. Oh, baby. Shake and bake, Brandon Randolph. Let's go, Wolverine defense. And a foul is called. We'll see who that is on exactly. Waiting for the official to give the signal before we take a break. That one's going to go against Brandon Randolph, but Utah Valley only down by 1. We'll be right back for more right here on UVU TV.
You're watching UVU TV.
Utah Valley clawing their way back into this game. 23-24 is the score. Utah Valley trails by 1. Brandon Randolph with a couple back-to-back buckets to inspire this Utah Valley offense. Got called for that foul call right before break, but he had a crafty move offensively to split the defense. Hard right-handed layup. And then right before that, a couple free throws. The score has been tied 5 different times within this first half, and we're not even done with the first half, just barely over halfway.
And now let's bring back our
Utah Valley Holton still dominating those points in the paint, 14-8. But at bench points, that's where it's a big concern if you're Coach Pope and company, trailing 12-3 right now in that category. New Mexico State. Nice step back, oh my. Another foul called down low. This one will go against, I believe, Connor Toulson. And it is Connor Toulson. Connor.
You can see how Ben gets stuck on the big man with the block out there, because before Isaac Nilsson was placed on that end out of bounds guy and New Mexico State was able to exploit it. Now they go to just Connor Toulson guarding the end out of bounds guy.
25 on the shot clock for New Mexico State. The 1-point lead. The teardrop doesn't fall. Connor Toulson comes away with it for Utah Valley.
A big defensive stop there for the Wolverines after Brandon and Jake Toulson really getting these guys back into it. And we've mentioned time and time again how those two are the leaders of this team, vocally and emotionally.
Brandon Randolph with the step back. Silky.
Brandon's starting to compete and really get into this one again, knowing that AK's not in the ball game to pick up a lot of the slack there offensively. Brandon can get to any spot he wants on the court through his speed and athleticism.
Isaac Nielsen trying to play defense on the other end. Ben Niklasa with the ferocious rebound. Randolph coming off the screen, trying to do everything himself. Back-to-back buckets. Forces a timeout for New Mexico State. Utah Valley with its largest lead so far, 27-24.
Brandon just makes it look easy out there. Again, utilizing those ball screens by Isaac Nilsson. And what New Mexico State's doing is they're going over the top of every single screen, and so that leaves Brandon's man to trail, and then it leaves Isaac guy to make a decision. Is he going to step up and guard Brandon, or is he going to let Isaac roll to the rim? And Brandon's such a prolific passer in the paint, always feeds guys when they need it and when they're ready for it. It's a tough position for New Mexico State to be in. We'll see what they come out of in this timeout.
Brandon Randolph right now, 9 points, 4 of 6 from the floor. Perfect 1 of 1 from the free throw line.
All right, let's welcome back our
And he is the leading scorer for both teams. Ben Nikwasa on City and Deer. A lot of jostling down low in the paint for position. And that's going to go against Isaac Nielsen. That'll be his second personal foul.
You can see Zach come in immediately for Isaac as we see just the tail end of that replay. Isaac real physical down low, trying to get around a baseline screen that was sent for Chua. And we've seen Zach and Isaac kind of trade places his entire first half, and it's really been to not only reserve energy and mix up the lineups to throw different schemes at New Mexico State, but try to keep those guys out of foul trouble, and unfortunately Isaac picks up a second.
Chua makes the first, misses the second. Utah Valley still up by 2. A little over 5 minutes to play in the first half. Jake Toulson guarded by Jamario Jones. Little dangerous pass to Brandon Randolph. Randolph been the hot hand so far for Utah Valley with 6 on the shot clock. Gives way Zach Nelson for the three-pointer. Okay. Zach Nelson's good for a 3-ball every now and again. Eli Chua answers right back with a silky, soft, left-handed fade.
Tough footwork there by Chua, and Zach on the possession before with his three-point shot. He's just tired of you counting down his points to 1,000 and wanted to show that he can still score and put it in the hole.
Zach Nelson with the move in the paint, old school. He has his average already. Whistle is called before the drive. That's going to go against Ben Nikwasa. That'll be his first.
As you can see, we just see the tail end of it again when Connor gets him a little bit on the back of the head trying to contest that shot. But me being a former teammate of Zach, love seeing Zach get going, not only on the perimeter, but he loves that up and under move and attack on the block. And we saw him early on in the game hit Jake and hit Brandon Randolph for three-point shots in the corner. But Zach can score the ball on his own as well as we get a substitution here with Jarrell DeBerry and Jake Toulson.
Looks like there's a little bit of a miscommunication between who is subbing in and who is subbing out for Utah Valley. Jarrell DeBerry comes up with the rebound after that miss. Utah Valley 32, New Mexico State 28, 4:14 left to play in this first half. Ben Nikwasa with the burst of speed, kicks out to Kenneth Dobby, hesitates, nice dish to Zach Nelson. Zach Nelson with the last 3 buckets for Utah Valley. And New Mexico State right now looking a little confused, like they just got sucker punched. City and Deer calms the fears. 34-30, Utah Valley on top. 3:27 left to play in the first frame. Randolph splitting the defense. Step back. Jamario Jones with the rebound. Coast to coast. Jamario Jones. He's getting revved up. Coach Pope going to call a timeout to think things over. 34-32, Utah Valley on top. The last 3 minutes, crucial to how the rest of this one pulls out, but we'll be right back with more on UVU TV.
You're watching UVU TV.
Utah Valley on top by 2, 34-32 at home, where Utah Valley has been 12-1 so far this season. They love playing here, and they have a little swagger about them being here. New Mexico State looking to remain undefeated in conference play. Utah Valley trying to upset the Aggies. So far, so good in this first half for Utah Valley. Zach Nelson. The last 3 offensive buckets for Utah Valley have gone through number 21. Brendan Randolph dancing around on the perimeter. Nice pull-up jumper. The rainbow finds the bottom of the net.
What a tough shot there by Brandon. Had to bring that one back almost behind his head to get it over the outstretched hand of the defender, and as you said, put a lot of arc on that one.
Keon Jones, guarded by Randolph. Jones with the burst of speed. And Brandon Randolph will be called for his second personal foul.
That was a tough one there against Brandon, as both defenses have been so physical, not only down low, but on anyone attacking the rim. So just a little bit of a body check there by Brandon. Body check, probably very strong term to use for that foul, but luckily we get a miss in the front end along, or the one won by Jones.
Jones' miss gives way to a rebound by Ben Nequassa and Utah Valley. With a little over 2 minutes to play in the first half. Kenneth Abbey with a quick 3-pointer. Rimmed off from the outside. Utah Valley now 3 of 7 from distance. New Mexico State on the other end. Doing work in the post is Wilkins. Guarded by Nelson. Toulson coming around to try and help. Missed by Wilkins. Another rebound by Utah Valley. Minute 45 left to play in the first half. 36-32, Wolverines on top. Nequassa. Kenneth Abbey with the stutter step. Looking for some help. Finds Connor Toulson with 7 on the shot clock. 5 on the shot clock. 3. Desperation shot. And here comes Jamario Jones and New Mexico State. And I don't know if Connor touched him or not, but that's the second time in that spot, that same spot right above the key, that New Mexico State has tripped up. The first time was City and Deer. Hard to tell with that angle right there. From that clip, it didn't look like there was much contact.
Yeah, their feet kind of get tangled up just enough to get Jones to go to the floor. And as you said, there have been a couple slips and falls around the top of that key area. Not sure if it's water or wet from guys shooting free throws. They're just not getting mopped up, but tough break for the Wolverines as Connor now picks up his second foul as well. So now him, Brandon, and Isaac Nilsson all with 2 fouls.
And the only person with 2 fouls for New Mexico State is Harris. Jones misses both free throws. New Mexico State gets a rebound back, however. Jamario gets it. Skies up for the 2 points. I think he got a little more hops in him than he thought.
And what a back-breaking play there. Giving up any free throw line rebound is so tough to come against. It's Terrell DeBerry, just short. But again, the Wolverines have to take advantage of possessions that they close out.
Careless pass by City and Deer. Ben Nequassa gives way to Jake Toulson. And Jake Toulson draws the foul with 40 seconds left to play in the first half. The official was all over that one. So Jake Toulson will go to the line to shoot. Utah Valley barely holding on to a 2-point lead. The most it was 5, even though that 5 felt like 10 or 12.
Yeah, this game, which has been a very low possession ball game, dictated by New Mexico State's pace of play, where they've been using that entire shot clock. And Jake, such a terrific free throw shooter, makes it look so simple with his stroke, and it's always the same routine, same concept that he goes through every time when he goes to the free throw line, and nearly automatic.
There's about a 10-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. Jake Toulson, with those 2 free throws, puts him at 9 points. Almost came up with a steal. 4-point lead. City and Deer from distance brings the Aggies within 1.
Tough shot by M. Deere. See what the Wolverines can get out of this last and final possession. They got Howard now on the court there for Zach Nilsson on that last free throw attempt.
Kenneth Dobby pulls the trigger. Wunderbar. Desperation heave. Kenneth Dobby's three-pointer at the end of regulation. 41-37 is your halftime score. Wolverines on top of the Aggies of New Mexico State. The crowd's feeling it.
What a shot to close out that half. Again, I was impressed by M. Deere's shot coming back after fumbling the ball a little bit early on in that possession, but Kenneth Ogby, whenever he can turn the corner, get his feet set, it's almost automatic from the top of the key for him, and a great way to close out such a fun first half.
That was only the 4th three-pointer that Utah Valley made in that first half. They're 4 of 9, so uncharacteristically missing from distance in that first half was Utah Valley. 5 of 9 from distance was New Mexico State. But overall, Utah Valley got off early. Jake Toulson, Connor Toulson driving to the lane. Utah Valley had a lot of success, Holton, getting to the lane and scoring in the paint. Jarrell DeBerry coming out off the bench. And, Jake Toulson, again, proving to be a leader and a facilitator on all aspects. Brandon Randolph, the leader as far as points are concerned, 11. And he was on fire in that first half.
Yeah, Brandon really got these things, get the game rolling in Wolverines' favor, as New Mexico State just didn't know how to guard him. It wasn't until he picked up that second foul where you don't have to guard him from the bench, but Brandon ran off with a terrific first half.
We'll take a quick break, and we got a successful video presentation for you right here on UVU TV.
I came to UVU kind of in a roundabout way. I attended a previous college in New Mexico, and then I was off from school for a year for different reasons. And I actually came in as a PR major and not a theater major, and then later transferred in my second semester here into the theater program. Best decision ever. The interactions that I've had with the professors at UVU so far has been incredible. They're very engaging. They get you involved. Like if you want to work on a project, there's plenty of projects for you to work on. They want you to be involved and actually do things, which is great because like I learn by doing, and I like actually working and doing things instead of just being here and taking the classes and then, oh, I have no experience. So they want to get you involved. With Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat for Sundance, I was brought on initially to be the props artisan, so the person in charge of taking the designer and the director's decisions on certain props that need to be in the show and either purchasing them or creating them in some way. And then later I was actually brought on as a carpenter to work here in the shop to help build the scenery. the opportunities that are provided, especially through working with Sundance, because everyone knows the name Sundance because of the film festival, and the summer theater has a good reputation. Work with the professors in class and then work with them as they're designing these shows with bigger budgets, much more larger scale and more professional. It's really cool to take that experience and then take it outside of the classroom and work with that to be able to have more of a professional feel rather than a school feel to the production process and the design process. Being involved in this project at Sundance is going to be incredible. One, the name in general, it's a great resume builder, but really it's the experience that I'm going to get with working hands-on with a large project like this. Really going forward in a career, you need experience. So having this hands-on experience and being exposed to this and working with people who've worked in the industry for years is really gonna help me in my future. Post-graduation, I want to work in the film industry, working with props, either just building them or being like the props master on film sets. I'd love to work on set in different locations, travel around with that. As I get older, work my way up to becoming a production designer to see the overall vision of a film. Seeing the success that we have, from my experiences, I wouldn't want to go anywhere else.
It's fitting that the Ira A. Fulton Library at Utah Valley University has this gallery at its entrance. This award-winning artwork is called Roots of Knowledge.
It's largely reflective of the UVU approach to education, engaged, serious, and inclusive. Each piece is vital in its own right, and, taken as an expansive whole, these tens of thousands of pieces add up to create a spectacular work of art which tell the history of humanity's search for understanding.
Speaking of expansion, many new buildings and programs have taken shape at UVU in the last year. We broke ground on the new V Basketball Center and opened it just 15 months later. It'll be both a big recruiting tool for future Wolverines and give our student athletes a competitive, winning edge.
We love putting the skills of our students in the spotlight on center stage. We broke ground on the Norda Center for the Performing Arts, and construction of this incredible facility is well underway.
And the Melissa Nellison Center for Autism demonstrates that our commitment to meeting the needs of our community is of paramount importance. Housed in the Cole Nellison Building, this program is a unique answer to a prevalent need in our community and state to develop resources and practical solutions to the daily lived reality of those on the autism spectrum and their caregivers. In this, UVU is already becoming a national leader.
We're very inclusive at UVU. When you come here, you can expect a rigorous university experience alongside vocational training. We believe in great teaching and learning to help our students accomplish their goals.
Other highlights of the year: opening of the renovated Rebecca Lockhart Arena, the new V Social Media Command Center, additional classroom space at Thanksgiving Point in the heart of Silicon Slopes, and the release of an exciting master plan. Utah Valley University is committed to expanding opportunities.
The process to create Roots of Knowledge was expansive and detailed. It didn't happen overnight. A UVU education is like that, requiring ongoing attention and devotion to academic study and skill development. With talented faculty, staff, and administrators guiding us, and amazing opportunities awaiting, that is why UVU is the place for us, and you.
You only need to answer one question. Will you accept the challenge to become? No matter where you are in life, no matter your interests. From innovative exercise science, outdoor recreation to STEM programs, there's a place for you at Utah Valley University. A place to engage, to rise, to succeed, to become.
You only need to answer one question.
Will you accept the challenge to become? It doesn't matter your situation in life.
No matter your interest.
Whether you're first choice or second chance.
There's a place for you.
Place for you. Place for you at UVU. Place to engage, to rise, to succeed.
To become.
When I was hired as the new coach at UVU, I knew that if we were going to win games, we'd have to have fans in the seats. I'm not much of a marketing guy, but I have some friends that know a thing or two about it.
All right, Coach. This is all about face-to-face interaction. That was actually pretty good. If this whole basketball thing doesn't work out, you should give me a call.
If you're looking to earn money this summer, stop by the Vantage marketing booth on the concourse during our games or visit choosevantage.com.
You only need to answer one question.
Will you accept the challenge to become?
No matter where you are in life.
No matter your interests.
From award-winning business
and STEM
to performing arts programs,
there's a place for you.
A place for you.
A place for you at UVU.
A place to engage.
To rise.
To succeed.
To become.
You're watching UVU TV.
Utah Valley on top 41-37 at the break. We just had a special presentation for halftime. It is Military Appreciation Night here in Orem, Utah. And again, we made mention of this before. There's no words that we can say, that we can conjure up to express how truly grateful we are for all of those out there who are serving or who have served. We thank you and we appreciate you and everything that you do. There is the Candy Bomber, who was just honored at halftime. A tremendous man and a wonderful, inspiring life that he has lived. Switching to basketball, Utah Valley up 41-37 at the half. Holt, what were some of the things that stood out to you that were positives for you in that first frame? I mean, ideally, you look at it, and Utah Valley on top by 4, and that's a huge victory going into the break.
Yeah, and the story of the game, to me at least, since that first half, where it came down to two things. Number one, Zach Lofton has 2 points right now for the game. Zach Lofton comes into the ball game averaging 22 points a game in WAC play. And then secondly, Wolverines are winning the rebounding battle. Right now, rebounding against New Mexico State, Wolverines only giving up 3 offensive rebounds in that first half, something that New Mexico State really thrives on. You mentioned early on Jamario Jones's amazing feat of 3 games of 20-plus rebounds, all coming back-to-back in WAC play, and only 3 rebounds for him tonight. So again, Zach Lofton being held to 2 points. Wolverines winning the rebound battle is kind of the story of that first half.
We'll see what happens and what storylines continue to progress as we enter into this second half. We're going to take a quick break, however. We'll be right back after this break, and we're going to have the second half action right here on UVU TV.
Good sportsmanship isn't defined by a scoreboard.
It isn't defined by how high you can jump or how fast you can run.
Good sportsmanship is all about character.
It is about doing your best for your coaches and teammates.
It's about having respect for your opponents, the officials, and the fans.
Good sportsmanship is winning with class and losing with dignity.
It is fair play, perseverance, and team spirit.
Good sportsmanship is what unites us.
We are the Western Athletic Conference.
You're watching UVU TV.
Second half action just about to start. We got a little over a minute left as we prep for the official tip-off of that second half. Again, Utah Valley clinging on to a 41-37 lead at home in the UCCU Center. Brandon Crow alongside Holton Hunsaker, thank you for letting us be a part of your evening here on UVU TV and on the WAC Sports Digital Network and all of our other outlets, Roku TV, Apple TV, and even Hulu. Right now, the leading scorer for Utah Valley, Brandon Randolph, the senior, doing things in all things. 5 of 8 from the floor, 11 points in 17 minutes of play. Jake Toulson with 9 points. Zach Nelson with 7 points. And for New Mexico State, City and Deer with 11 points leading his squad. And following right after that, Jones with 6. And Chua with 5.
Yeah, tonight's really been the Brandon show. Either between you, Brandon, and Brandon Randolph out there tonight. I've loved his aggression. He's been attacking from the jump ball, and between him and Jake Toulson, again, they set the tone for the other guys, and they eliminated all fear, any doubts in that first half. And then secondly, as we mentioned before, the Wolverines winning the rebound battle against New Mexico State. And then another extra possession, extra effort statistic that stands out to me is Wolverines only have 4 turnovers against New Mexico State 6. And so my prediction, if they can win both of those categories, both of those statistics, in rebounding and turnovers, I think the Wolverines walk out of here victorious tonight and send a message throughout the rest of the Western Athletic Conference.
Well, halftime might seem very quick to the viewers, but head coach Chris Jans and Mark Pope know exactly what to do and know exactly how to coach up their squads. They have tremendous staff, and they were able to take a look and see what exactly the tweaks were that they needed to make. And right now is when push comes to shove, and when all that will expose itself. New Mexico State, again with their road blacks and the burgundy trim, have the ball to start off the second half. And Jones gets the rock down low. Isaac Nielsen with the goaltend. That was a quick pass from Jones to Wilkins. Wilkins put that one up in the air very quickly, knowing that Isaac Nielsen would be there. And Isaac just a little too late to get to that one.
Mexico State starting off that first half just the way they did with the game, focusing everything going on interior play. There were probably 5 or 6 different block-to-block screens on that last possession until they got what they wanted around the rim.
Jake Toulson continues Utah Valley's power in the paint.
Terrific play there out of the first half to get a wide open layup underneath your basket. Nice job by Coach Pope and his staff drawing that one up to start this second half.
Nice spin move by Lofton. Gives way to Wilkins for 3. Hey, our big man did it. Their big man can do it too. That's what their mindset must be. New Mexico State claws within 1, 42-43. Utah Valley barely on top. Jake Toulson gives way to Connor Toulson. Kenneth Ogby, 10 seconds on the shot clock. Jake Toulson, he's gonna spot up for 3. Rim just off the backside, and Jamario Jones gobbles it up for the Aggies. Jones down low to Wilkins. Quick hands by Connor Toulson. That's the 4th steal for Utah Valley.
Yeah, it's about the 3rd ball that, well, going up to the rim, Connor's been able to get his hand on, and that saved 3 baskets. That's 6 points to Connor's favor and what he's been able to give to these guys defensively.
Utah Valley in the white and green. Jake Toulson doing work. Nice defense by Jamario Jones. Poked away. A burst of speed by City and Deer. Draws the contact. Count it. And Deer will go to the line to finish the 3-point play.
And Deer with a little bit of a tough spill there over the Towel boys on the end, but you can see that bump that he went through with Kenneth Ogby's off arm. But defensively, it was Jones that got that play going, able to poke it away from Jake Toulson in the post, and you see how fast these guys are in transition.
City and Deer misses the free throw. New Mexico State shooting 25% from the free throw line tonight. Utah Valley shooting 100. Kenneth Ogby, hesitation, draws the contact, and he'll go to the line to shoot two.
You see now the officials tighten it up on all drives to the rim. Great recognition there by Kenneth Ogby on City and Deer to get himself back to the free throw line and hopefully see the basket go in for the first time in the second half and get a shot going.
Kenneth Ogby makes the first free throw. Zach Nelson checks in for Isaac Nielsen. Kenneth Ogby moves his point total to 8 points on the evening. Hey, gets the shooter's touch to 9 points for Ogby. And New Mexico State right now a little slower of a pace, trying to figure some things out on the offensive side. 44 to 45. Wolverines on top by 1. Nice pump fake by in there, trying to dish it off to Wilkins again. And I believe that foul is going to go against Brandon Randolph, and that'll be his 3rd personal foul.
Tough decision now for Coach Pope. Brandon, really all offense runs through him. He controls the tempo of this game and has picked things up for the Wolverines. So now he's got to kind of play conservative as
Lofton slicing through that Utah Valley defense. A little bit of a lull as far as energy goes from Utah Valley coming out of the gates in the second half. New Mexico State up in the ante. Brandon Randolph draws the contact, and he'll go to the free throw line. That'll go against Jamario Jones.
terrific change of speed there from Brandon as you see his bounce and athleticism go up over Jamario Jones. Brandon has been quiet to start this second half, and sometimes he can kind of let guys, run the offense and take control, but it was his aggression, it was his attacking that got them the lead in the first half. So hopefully these free throws, or as Ben Nikwasi comes in now, because again, Brandon does have his 3 fouls.
Nikwasi with 1 personal foul. There's a handful of guys for Utah Valley with 2. Randolph and Wilkins and Buchanan. All have 3. Nice step back. Easy money for Zach Lofton as he started to heat up here in the second half. Maybe he heard you at halftime.
I'm sure his coach let him know at halftime, as Zach Lofton means so much to this New Mexico State Aggie team. The leading scorer again, and maybe the leading scorer in the WAC right now to this point.
15 on the shot clock for Utah Valley. Jake Toulson trying to find some space. Gives way to Connor Toulson. 8 seconds on the shot clock. 5, 4, and there goes Lofton again. Lofton doing it all on his own. Back-to-back buckets for number 23.
And that last possession, you can see the value of Brandon Randolph. Late shot clock situations, who can create a shot for themselves or who can create offense for somebody else, and that's why they rely so much on Brandon.
Zach Nelson doing work in the post against Jonathan Wilkins. Zach Nelson now 9 points on the evening.
Seeing flashbacks of how good Zach is. We're going to get a turnover there if that one goes off the hands of Wilkins.
That'll take us to the first media timeout. Utah Valley trailing just by 1. It'll be Utah Valley basketball when we return right after this on UVU TV. New Mexico State 50. The Aggies on top, and they've taken control of the first 5 minutes or so of this second half. 6 lead changes. Score has been tied 7 times in total in this contest. New Mexico State was losing the points in the paint battle, but they have since stormed back, and now they're up 24-22 in that statistic. Even though Utah Valley has forced more turnovers, New Mexico State has capitalized on theirs more. 11 points to Utah Valley's 7 points off turnovers.
With that late run, and we saw a few scrambled possessions there by the Wolverines, you start to question how long Jake Toulson and Brandon Randolph can stay on the bench for the Wolverines. They've got a big lift tonight from Zach Nelson, a little bit of a flash from the past. Zach giving these Wolverines 9 points off the bench tonight.
Ben Nikwasa starts things out the gate for Utah Valley. Jarrell DeBerry, Connor Toulson, Kenneth Dobby, and Zach Nelson on the floor for the Wolverines. Jarrell DeBerry driving to the rack, gets fouled in the process. And that foul will go against Zach Lofton. And that'll be his second personal foul. Strong take by Jarrell DeBerry, kind of flailing, but draws contact nonetheless. And DeBerry makes the free throw.
Wolverines picked up DeBerry right around the halfway point in the season. And he's been a big lift off the bench, something that they really needed when Hayden Skate went down with his knee injury. And he can do a number of different good things out there on the court. Not only his ability to score, but he brings a big physical presence there defensively.
Connor Toulson scrapping it up on the floor. Again, Utah Valley with their hands in the cookie jar. Really forcing New Mexico State to be on their heels and to have their head on a swivel, as the coaches would say. 10 on the shot clock for the Aggies. Lofton, he's really taken over this second half for New Mexico State. 52-50 in favor of the Aggies now.
Yeah, Lofton now moves his point total to double digits as he picks up his 10th point of the ball game. That's 8 points now already in the first 5.5 minutes or so of this second half.
Zach Nelson trying to find a cutting Brandon Nikwasa. $19 on the shot clock. Ball goes through the moneymaker right now in Lofton. And that one will trickle off of an Aggie foot out of play.
Wolverine basketball, checking it from Wolverines, number 22, Nielsen.
Tough pass right there for Jamario Jones to handle. Again, we'll start to see a lot more of the action go for Zach Lofton, especially when Jake Toulson's out of the ball game. Jake has really bothered him with his physicality and also his length defensively.
Ben Nikwasa gives way to Jarrell DeBerry. Now Brandon Randolph shows off that ball handling skills, and they're going to call an offensive foul against Brandon Randolph, and that'll be his 4th personal. So as soon as he checks back into the ball game, he gets a foul called, and that is a huge, huge blow for Utah Valley.
Yeah, you run the risk of putting him back into the game so early, and they didn't even get him subbed out here on that last possession because they were arguing with the officials. So Brandon out there right now on the court with 4 foul calls, and hopefully Brandon realizes that, and if there's any drive to the rim, Brandon just lets his guy go.
Out of bounds.
Another out-of-bounds play against New Mexico State. Ball will be awarded to Utah Valley.
Checking back in for our Wolverines, number 2, Jake Toolson.
Jake Toolson checks back in for the Wolverines.
And now we're probably not going to see Brandon unless this game gets away from the Wolverines until that last 5 or 6 minutes. Trying to manage him and manage this ball game is going to be tough for Coach Pope.
It's a lot of responsibility to be put on Ben Niquas' shoulders. See if he rises to the task. 10 seconds on the shot clock for Utah Valley. 6, 5. Jarrell DeBerry, 3, 2. And he draws the foul. And that one is going to go against Keon Jones.
See the replay here. Keon Jones just a half second too late, and especially after that last charge call going against Brandon Randolph, the official is looking to be in the favor of the Wolverines. See if DeBerry can capitalize on this trip to the line.
Very, very successful free throw shooter on the season. Makes the first. Utah Valley right now shooting 11 of 12, 92% from the free throw line. Make that 12 of 13. Compare that to New Mexico State's 25%. And should this game get out of hand and get into the bonus and double bonuses, Utah Valley will need to have those cooler heads at the charity stripe. A deep three on the other end. Banks open. Keon Jones called glass. 55-52.
You always know did that just go in type of feeling when the guys on the bench are all kind of smiling on your teammates. So Keon luckily got that one to go off the glass there, and now Jake working him down low in the post.
Jake Toolson trapped in the corner with 10 on the shot clock. A foul from behind. That'll go against Buchanan. So that'll be Buchanan's third personal foul. Really sloppy play for both teams coming out here in this second half, Holden.
Yeah, and that really plays to the favor of New Mexico State. They just have the athletes that can go out there and just kind of play more chaotic basketball. And with the foul trouble that the Wolverines have had to deal with, it's been tough for them to start controlling things and making things more structured offensively.
12 on the clock. Jarrell DeBerry drives and finds a crease. Jarrell DeBerry with 2. Utah Valley switching gears now on defense.
And give Isaac Nilsson credit for that last basket as he was able to seal his guy and keep the basket wide open there for DeBerry.
Chua with the spin move. Isaac Nilsson with the block. That one got the crowd back into it. Utah Valley now with a chance to regain the lead. Jarrell DeBerry cocked and loaded.
You can hear the crowd now really getting behind him, and Jarrell DeBerry almost picked up the steal right there, but again, we mentioned he's such a dynamic player and loves the big moments in the game, is able to lock that last 3 down.
Jarrell DeBerry draws his second personal foul. It'll be Aggie basketball when we return right after this.
In this moment, it doesn't matter if you save money in 15 minutes. It doesn't matter if your neighbor has the same insurance that you do. What matters right now is the quality of your independent insurance agent.
Glad you're okay, Sarah. We'll take care of everything.
And the company that stands behind them.
Thanks so much for your help.
No problem.
Auto Owners Insurance.
Neil Dastrup Insurance, your local independent auto owners insurance agency, supports UVU athletics.
You're watching UVU TV.
Willie the Wolverine donning the camo fatigues. Again, Utah Valley honoring those who have served and continue to serve. Military Appreciation Night here in Orem, Utah. Right now, Utah Valley on top, 57-55 over New Mexico State. Brandon Crow alongside Holton Hunsaker, thanking you for letting us be a part of your evening here on UVU TV and on the WAC Sports Digital Network and all of its different platforms. Jarrell DeBerry coming off the bench, providing a much-needed spark for Utah Valley's offense. And his clutch three-pointer is what gives Utah Valley their lead at the moment. But Jamario Jones and Zach Lofton have other ideas. Jake Toulson pretty much just took that right out of the hands of Jamario Jones.
Jamario Jones thought he could easily just get that ball in, but Jake being active defensively this entire night, not only on Jamario Jones, but on Zach Lofton as well.
Ben Ikwasa hesitated in the air and lost that one out of bounds.
Yeah, Ben just got himself in a bad way as he left his feet there in the paint. Lots of times that coming off your feet pass will work if you're going away from the action and on the baseline side, but Ben saved himself for the time, trying to get that one off the rim, but couldn't recover.
City and Deer, Lofton down low. That one gobbled up by Isaac Nielsen, but Lofton poked it away from the big fella. Lofton pulls back, gives way to Endear again, trying to reset as far as the offense is concerned. 18 on the clock. Endear rims off. Chua comes up with the board for the Aggies. Somehow finds that left-handed floater into the back of the cup.
And that's what we emphasize. It's the rebounding game. The Wolverines, before that possession, only giving up 3 offensive rebounds the entire game. And 2 quick ones leads to 2 easy points there for New Mexico State.
Jake Toulson.
Shot there by Jake Toulson as the Wolverines struggling to get anything going offensively. And a tough drive and finish around Isaac Nilsson there.
A.J. Harris. This one is just going to go all the way down to the wire. Anytime a team tries to pull away, Utah Valley or New Mexico State, the other one, they come right back within minutes. The largest lead of the game has been 5, held by both teams. Ben Nikwasa with the pump fake. 8 on the shot clock. Anticipation by Lofton. Nikwasa with the foul, and they're going to count it.
Ben Nikwasa, lucky he didn't get called for an intentional foul here, just trying to wrap him up. And Zach Lofton so strong and quick to the rim, as that's now his second full court steal and finish of this second half.
And you mentioned he only had 2 points at halftime. And should he make this free throw to sink the three-point play, that'll be 11 straight points in this second half for number 23.
We saw Brandon check in late into the frame of your picture there. Brandon Randolph again, just kind of be aware he's got 4 fouls out there, so Brandon going to try to do everything he can to not pick up that 5th, as he is so key and pivotal to what the Wolverines do offensively and defensively.
So Lofton now with 13 points on the evening. Kenneth Ogby with the quick trigger. Jake Toulson with the rebound for Utah Valley. Zach Nelson gets taken down. Crowd wanted something more than just a regular foul call. A couple players got tangled up. Zach just falls. And Lofton reaches down to pick a help.
They're going to take a look at it here, but I don't think they're going to find anything. Lofton didn't have a vicious follow-through or anything on that one, at least what I saw in the replay. Not sure if he initially got Zach around the face area, but hopefully this review is quick. But again, Jake Toulson, as he picked up that offensive rebound, a three-point shot the time before. It's really been him in this second half that stepped up for the Wolverines.
Jake Toulson is the leading scorer for Utah Valley, 14 points, 5 of 6 from the floor. As we take another look at the last play, Zach Nelson and Zach Lofton getting tangled up. Again, nothing that jumps out at you.
Yeah, we'll see what the officials come back with, but again, I think just a common foul here, and the official signals that we're going out underneath the rim.
So it'll be Utah Valley basketball underneath their own hoop. Brandon Randolph will inbound. Kenneth Dobby pulls it back. Connor Toulson, who's had a quiet evening so far, goes down low to Zach Nelson. 15 on the shot clock. Zach Nelson, outlet pass to Toulson. Toulson finds a crease, kicks back out to Connor Toulson, gets his rhythm, finds the bottom of the net for three. Utah Valley goes up again by one.
What a pump fake there. Recognition by Connor Toulson of a hard closeout there. And to be able to find his balance off of one dribble. Tough shot and a great lift for the Wolverines now that they go back up by one.
Chua working on Nelson. Chua too strong in the post.
Back and forth we go, as you continue to mention. What a fun game we're getting able to watch here of college basketball. Both teams coming to the end of their seasons and trying to get everything up for the tournament.
Give away to an easy layup for Harris. As soon as one team reclaims the lead, then the other one comes right back. So now New Mexico State on top, 66-63.
Mexico State now in a 2-3 zone, really trying to slow things down for Wolverines as Kenneth Ogby comes up short, and those are the shots that they're going to need to make against that zone. But it's difficult to get offensive rebounds with those guys packed down low in the paint.
Harris with the pull-up trigger, rims off. Connor Toulson gobbles up the rebound for Utah Valley. Brandon Randolph passes the logo for Utah State. Jake Toulson with the stutter step. Finds Kenneth Dobby, bounce pass in rhythm. Kenneth Dobby loves that spot.
I love that he doesn't hesitate, and you could see as that camera went down on him, he says, I don't miss two in a row like that. That's the confidence Kenneth has, and he is that great of a shooter.
City and Deer. Keon Jones, now Chua. Bounce pass. Here comes Brandon Randolph, Utah Valley. Jake Toulson with the kick out, nobody home. Miscommunication for the Wolverines. Harris. They'll hold on to it, reset, wait for his teammates to come. That one poked away. That one looked like it might have bounced off of Harris. The whole state of Utah and the city of Orem wants another look at that replay. We'll get our look at that replay when we return right here on UVU TV.
You're watching UVU TV.
All tied up, 66-66. 6:25 to go in the ball game. We're going to take another quick look at the replay, the last play before we took a timeout. The ball was called off of Jake Toulson. Utah Valley and head coaches and everybody here thought that that one might have gone off of Harris.
And hopefully the guys don't get fixated on that call. As you can see, Coach Pope still trying to plead his case with the official on that last one. It's kind of, you have to move on. This game has gone back and forth so much, and with only 6 minutes left in the game, if you can lose any piece of your concentration or let something go astray from what you've been focusing on, it may give New Mexico State or whoever it is on the Mexico State or UVU side just the edge they need to pull away on this one.
Well, if you're not already buckled in, strap up and grab your popcorn. It's going to be a crazy 6 minutes left in the UCCU Center in Orem, Utah. Right now, 3 seconds, 2 seconds. Harris with the trigger. Rims off. An attempted save by New Mexico State. I believe that was Wilkins. Wilkins jumped over his own bench and flew right into the railing. And I don't know if the adrenaline's going to kick in, but he will definitely feel that a little bit later. Now the officials are talking to the sideline staff, and I believe there are some little kids that are getting too close to the action courtside. Jarrell DeBerry gives way. Here comes Lofton. Harris all over the place for New Mexico State. Harris finds some space, pull-up jumper, and that's good. Silences the crowd with an 8-foot teardrop.
We mentioned before it was going to be the turnover game. That's now the 9th turnover for the Wolverines in this second half. And New Mexico State's did a great job of turning those turnovers into baskets, as they now have 20 points off of turnovers.
Ben Nikwasa has a wide open look from the top of the key. Rims off. Jarrell DeBerry comes away with it. Goes right back up and draws the foul. And that one will go against Jonathan Wilkins. That'll be his second personal foul. Jarrell DeBerry skies up for it. Draws the contact. Will go to the line and up with an opportunity to tie the ball game yet again. Makes the first.
These are going to be Jarrell's 5th and 6th free throws of the game, and just shows coming off the bench. He's only played 14 minutes, picked up 12 points already, make that 13. Jarrell has just been such a lift. He's just fearless the way he plays. Even that offensive rebound was, characteristic of how he is just going to fight and claw and go get balls and make plays for his team.
Coming into this matchup, a lot of people were having these online petitions, if you will, for a 2-bid whack this year. And should New Mexico State not win, is that a block? One is blocked by Connor Toulson. Should New Mexico State not win the tournament and let it be somebody else? Utah Valley is making its case with their strength of schedule. Kenneth Dogby in the corner. Bang, biscuit. Timeout, State. Kenneth Dogby's three-pointer lifted the energy in this crowd, 71-68. Timeout by Chris Jans and New Mexico State. Kenneth Dogby now 15 points, the leading scorer for both teams. Right behind him is teammates Jarrell DeBerry and Brandon Randolph with 13, Jake Toulson with 14. And for New Mexico State, Lofton and Endear both tied at 13 apiece. Harris with 9, Chua with 9, and Jones with 9. This is a wild game.
It's been a fun one, to say the least. Fun to be a part of. And the Wolverines doing all of this with Cole DeManiang out, and the majority of it, this fight and claw into this game, has been done with Brandon Randolph on the bench with 4 fouls. And so give the guys off the bench a huge, notice and credit, as they now have 20 bench points against Mexico State's 22, something that Coach Pope has been striving to get all season long. What a fun college basketball game to watch and see. Fun for the community here in Orem. For these guys to really show what they can do. Again, this is a New Mexico State team. We mentioned what they've done in WAC play, but in Hawaii, they beat, at the time, the 6th-ranked team in the country, Miami, and have several high-caliber preseason wins. And so it shows just how good the Wolverines are.
And don't forget, Utah Valley went into Lexington, Kentucky at the very beginning of this year. They led at halftime. They were up by as much as 10, and they only fell by 10. But still, the WAC is a growing conference from top to bottom. And tonight's contest is every bit of the example of that. And Terrell DeBerry gets called for the foul. That'll be his 3rd personal foul. 20 seconds on the shot clock. 71-68, Utah Valley on top. New Mexico State inbound. City and Deer. Now Lofton. And they're going to call a screen on Wilkins. That'll be Wilkins' 3rd personal.
That was really set up there by Jarrell DeBerry. Just continues to fight, 3 or 4 ball screens of possession for Zach Lofton. And we mentioned Zach Lofton having a big second half, 11 points. But Jarrell DeBerry making every one of those difficult for him.
Kenneth Dobby finds Connor Toulson from distance.
There's that breakthrough you've been talking about. A 6-point lead now with 4 minutes left. 5 points was the lead, or the largest lead before the ball game for either team.
And Lofton misses. Ball tipped all the way around. Jamario Jones comes up with it. Chua. Solid defense from Isaac Nielsen. Here comes Utah Valley with an opportunity to open this one up a little bit. Pump fake from Ogby, spin move. Oh, baby! Coach Pope calls a timeout. 76-68. Utah Valley on top. We'll be right back with more from Orem, Utah after this.
You only need to answer one question. Will you accept the challenge to become? No matter where you are in life, no matter your interests, from award-winning accounting to marketing and entrepreneurship programs, there's a place for you at Utah Valley University. A place to engage, to rise, to succeed, to become.
You're watching UVU TV.
Utah Valley crowd is revved up. Willie the Wolverine with his motorcycle on center court. Kenneth Dobby's three-pointer right before the break. 76-68, the largest lead for either team so far on the evening. New Mexico State right now, no field goals in their last 2.5 minutes. Utah Valley right now cannot let this one slip away. if you're Mark Pope and company. Final 3.5 minutes as Harris brings this one up court for New Mexico State. Now City and Deer. And another whistle is called, and that's going to go against Jarrell DeBerry, and that'll be his 4th personal foul.
Yeah, Jarrell DeBerry did everything right, in my opinion, on that play. Beat Zach Lofton to the spot there and recognized what they were trying to draw up out of that timeout. And unfortunately, just a little too physical with Zach Lofton, and Zach now getting a chance to cut into this 8-point lead of the Wolverines.
Lofton makes the first free throw. 14 points for Zach Lofton. Make that 15. The pride of St. Paul, Minnesota, coming out of Texas Southern. Making the most of this extra year to play. 76-70. Utah Valley on top. 3 minutes to play from the UCCU Center in Orem, Utah.
See if we can find Kenneth Ogby again in that spot on the wing.
Thought about it. Utah Valley is trying to waste as much clock as they can. Now 5 seconds, 4 seconds. Extra pass, got to get it up. 2-1, counts if it goes. Not exactly the most ideal of possessions if you're a Wolverine. But if you're New Mexico State, you're licking your chops. Isaac Nielsen licked his chops with that swat.
What a play by Isaac Nielsen.
Could be a game changer.
And as this thing continues to get milked down here, the Wolverines trying to use all 30 seconds off that shot clock to leave New Mexico State very little time to make up for this lead.
Jake Toulson in the corner. Kenneth Ogby with the stutter step again. 3 seconds. Deep three. Rims off. And another rebound. This time Jamirio Jones. City and Deer in the corner. Has some speed. Gives off to Jamirio Jones. Nielsen can't come up with that one. And City and Deer comes up grabbing his shin. And that is not good. And he is in a lot of pain.
I didn't see if it was an immediate cramp or maybe he landed on someone's foot. That's a big loss for New Mexico State with 2 minutes left in the game. M. Deer, 13 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist already on the night, but 3 steals. And so they're going to miss his athleticism there on the perimeter. Hopefully it's just a cramp there and he can get back out there.
76-72, Utah Valley on top. And they had such a momentum offensively until they started to pass that ball around. Now, there still is a lot of time left, but hopefully that did not throw off their groove offensively where they don't score another bucket in the last minute and a half. But if you're New Mexico State, however, that's what you're hoping for. Jake Toulson, Kenneth Ogby from distance, finds the bottom of the net. Woo! 79-72. Lofton was driving. Gets the foul against Isaac Nielsen. That's his 3rd.
That last play, you can see Isaac just gets over there a little late to come vertical, and Zach Lofton gets after you with a head full of steam. It's tough to play against, but going back to that Kenneth Ogby 3-point shot, how many times is New Mexico State going to give arguably the best shooter in the gym a wide open 3-point look? And eventually that's going to beat you.
Lofton, 16 points with that free throw. Make that 17. Stranger things have happened. 79-74. Kenneth Ivey, two-punch man.
What a pass by Jake Toulson. What poise and presence to make the pass. As we see the full court pass, and what a finish by Kenneth Ogby.
Zach Lofton now at the free throw line. A minute and 1. Lofton. Cool as a cucumber in a bowl of hot sauce. That's just a gimme for Lofton. 19 points on the evening. Jake Toulson calls timeout. Nobody available to help him out. It's only a 5-point game, man. With a minute left. This is whack basketball.
Couldn't get any better. What plays down the stretch by Kenneth Ogby. Three-pointers made in that same spot there in the wing when New Mexico State went to that 2-3 zone. Then Jake Toulson, that end out of bounds play against full court pressure, able to throw it 90 feet to the other end. What a play by him.
What's your strategy if you're Chris Jans and company?
It's not quite half the foul territory yet, but you want to force them being the Wolverines, into some type of turnover before they can get across that 10-second line. But tough to do with Brandon Randolph out there on the court, who handles the ball and pressure so well. But after it gets across that half-court line, you have to start thinking foul as this thing's going to keep continuing to tick away.
Again, no Sidney Indier for New Mexico State. Jake Toulson, Brandon Randolph got to get the ball past half-court, which they do. Time continuing to tick away. And a foul is called, and so it begins.
Now it's all about making free throws, and out there on the court right now, you got to be pretty comfortable if I was Coach Pope with any of those guys shooting free throws.
49 seconds exactly. Brandon Randolph at the line. And he makes the first. Randolph, one of 5 Wolverines in double figures. Joining him are Jarrell DeBerry, Kenneth Ogby with the game-high 22. Connor Toulson and Jake Toulson. Randolph makes both. A.J. Harris, Jamario Jones trying to conjure up some magic.
Wasting a lot of time here on this possession trying to find an opening.
That one goes on the top of the backboard. And that'll be Utah Valley basketball.
On that possession, it was Connor Toulson yet again who got a hand on a basketball going up to try to finish. And with that dead ball, Coach Pope able to align his guys to exactly where he wants and who he wants out there on the court. I think we're going to take a look at it to see if when Connor Toulson got a hand on it, to see if it was his hand that was last one on the basketball. I don't think so, because Connor swiped down on the ball by kind of where Harris's waist was, and so when Harris went up to finish that shot, I think it was his hand that was the last one on that ball.
Referees are taking a look. A little bit of inception, a camera, looking at another camera. 83-76. 32 seconds left to play. And it will stay Utah Valley basketball.
And again, that another lengthy time where Coach Pope doesn't have to use a timeout, but enough time for him to draw up and put guys in position where he wants them.
Jake Toulson taking his time. A great athletic play by New Mexico State to try and save that ball. A toe was on the line, however. .7 seconds left. Another touchdown pass. Great athleticism. Johnny McCants. A.J. Harris for three. 79-83. This one's not over, folks.
Still a 4-point game means it's 2 possessions, so this one's still in the hands of the Wolverines. They just got to make smart plays. That time, Jake, after having success with the long ball the first time, just needs to get that ball into his great free throw shooters, and Kenneth Ogby or Brandon Randolph are open coming back to the basketball. But if these guys can make plays and just get the ball inbounded, they're going to shoot free throws, which they've done so well this entire night.
What was your best way to elude pressure defense from an inbound?
Great screens by teammates. I was never the fastest guy, and so I relied on my teammates to get me open. And then it was usually Zach Nilsson who was inbounding the ball towards us, and so much pressure's on that inbound.
And another quick foul for New Mexico State against Brandon Randolph. And more substitutions for Coach Mark Pope. 25.4 seconds remain. That inbound took a little less than 2 seconds off the clock. Brandon Randolph makes the free throw. .79. And the UCCU Center is turned into a church. Brandon Randolph makes both free throws. 85-79, still a 6-point lead. A.J. Harris, quick trigger again. Rimmed off. Jarrell DeBerry gets fouled from behind, comes away with a little bit of a smile. 16.7 seconds. And the Utah Valley crowd can smell it.
DeBerry just needs to knock down one of these for this one to be over. Still a 2-possession ball game. 2 quick threes can put New Mexico State back in it, but DeBerry's going to have 2 attempts at this one.
And he misses the first. Collective sigh of relief from the UVU faithful.
And that one will do it, I believe.
Lofton for 3, misses. Toulson with the rebound, and that will do it. The dagger pierces the heart. Undefeated no more. Utah Valley victorious, 86-79. Down go the Aggies. Utah Valley improves their home record now to 13-1. A big victory for Utah Valley over New Mexico State with just 4 games left to play in the regular season.
And again, as we go through the replays here, Zach Nelson, such a lift off the bench with Jarrell DeBerry as well.
But these guys all came together collectively with AK out this game. Again, Brandon Randolph in foul trouble most of the second half, but Kenneth Ogby will probably see a couple go in from that same spot. Huge three-pointers against that 2-3 zone that sealed this one, and then it was Brandon Randolph down the stretch, able to seal this thing with free throws. But what a game by Kenneth Ogby tonight, Jake Toulson as well. And a statement that everyone's gonna turn on their phones, either see the notifications tonight that what was arguably the best team in the WAC gets handled tonight against the Wolverines.
If you don't think this victory meant anything, you should take a look at Coach Pope right now, who ran over to give his wife a huge hug and is embracing, fist pumping, high-fiving anybody that he can find around him. Utah Valley, a hard-fought, well-deserved victory, 86-79 over New Mexico State. Again, that is just the first loss of the conference season for the Aggies.
Only the fourth loss on the year for them, and so
5 Utah Valley Wolverines in double figures tonight. Kenneth Ogby, the man of the match, 22 for KO.
Good job, dude.
And like you said, Holton, what a statement victory for Utah Valley heading into the final weeks of this conference.
Wolverines now go on to play Rio Grande Valley Saturday night. Rio Grande Valley has had a couple big wins of their own in conference play and much improved from last year. But the Wolverines come up with a big one tonight. What a fun game to be a part of, back and forth the entire night. I think we had, 13 or 14 lead changes. That was a fun game.
The Wolverines have been climbing the mountain all season long. Tonight they've reached the peak. They got to stay there for 2.5 more weeks. Again, your final tonight from Orem, Utah, 86-79. For our producer Dennis in the studio, for our camera crew, all of our hardworking staff behind the scenes. For Holton Hunsaker, I'm Brandon Crowe saying so long and good night from the UCCU Center.